Hello again and welcome back. My name's Annie and this is my creative detour. Well, today is the very last day of the hashtag ABC April 2025 challenge. Today is the letter Z. I have already started some of the project and I'm going to do a few inserts throughout this video looking back at what I was doing. But going to be putting an art journal together today, and you will say, well, art starts with A and journal starts with J, but I'm going to decorate it with Z elements. So I'm going to be doing a zebra, and I'm also decorating it with, I'm not sure whether any of you have heard of it, but when I was researching different Z words in relation to papercraft and art, I found zentangle art, which is basically drawing with line work, and it's mainly black and white, but some people use little pops of color. Well, I love color, and I actually like black and white. So I'm halfway through the composition of this, and I'm going to finish doing this on the video, but I'm going to flick back to showing you how I put this together. And the other Z word that I'm going to use today is zigzag. So some of the paper and some of the decorations on the journal are going to be zigzag patterned. So we have zigzag, zebras, and zentangle art. I'll leave it here for you to have a quick look at how I got to this stage, putting the collage together and then sketching the line work and then colouring in the line work, and I will meet you back here very soon. Now I'm just going to start on the collage for the front of the journal. I've pulled out this page from a magazine. I've also got some black and white ephemera from a Tim Holtz kit, and I've got a zebra that I cut out as well. I'm just going to, I'll show you what I'm thinking. I'm going to position the zebra on the page and have him jumping out of this urn, holding an umbrella, because zebras always need to hold an umbrella, especially a black and white umbrella. Then I'll just have this sparrow flying past the sun. Now what I'm going to do is I'm only going to cut out the top half of this, and then in the bottom of it I'm actually going to use the zebra print and create a zentangle inspired artwork. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but at the moment I'm going to put the background on my composition and then position our Mr. Zebra, and then we'll go from there. All right, I've laid it out, and this is kind of where I'm heading with this. So I'm just going to cut a little bit out from behind his nose. I'll just mark that I want that bit out. Some of this from behind his stomach we don't need, so I can cut that off. Let's see if that works okay. Yes, that's pretty good. All right, I'm going to glue that down. Now, Mr. Zebra, I'm not going to glue his front legs down because I want to do that later once I've tucked the umbrella in. And we'll need to cut his bottom leg off a little bit. Got a bit of a tickle in my throat today. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch a zebra print in the bottom of where I'm going to colour it in with the zentangle kind of style artwork. So it's kind of a bit of a composition, a bit of a mixture of styles. To be honest, I love doing things that are a little bit different. So what I'm going to do now is where his black stripes on him, I'm going to leave that white, and then where his white stripes are, that's where I'm going to start sketching. Oh, that's where I'm going to colour in at the bottom. So I'll probably put this to some music and speed it up where I'm sketching, and then I'll come back in and chat a little bit, and then we'll colour it in. All right, so sit back, relax, and listen to the music, and you'll just see me doing a little bit of planning. Okay, I've done some sketching of where I want the zebra print, and like I said, I'm going to reverse it. So wherever it's white on the zebra, I'm going to colour in black on my lines, and wherever it's black on the zebra, I'm going to leave those white. So we'll see how it goes. This is the first time that I've done it, so let's give it a try. I'll put some more music on and speed it up and come back once it's finished. Okay, so let's stick down some of the pieces that I showed you earlier that I was putting in the collage. I have some Tim Holtz ephemera here. As I mentioned before, I got the scenery out of a magazine, and I fussy cut out that and the zebra, and then I sketched the line work, the zentangle sort of style, rendered it in with black pen. And so we're going to do this, and then we'll go on to putting the journal together. So the month of April went very quickly. The challenge was wonderful. I'm not sure whether any of you have watched any of my other videos. Some of you may have, and thank you for doing that. And welcome to any new subscribers. It's nice to have you aboard. And for all of the people that are coming back, I appreciate your regular viewing. For those of you that have watched some of my other ones, you will have heard me saying that I was disappointed about not being able to join earlier. I went away for over 2 weeks, and I missed pretty much the first half of the month and was unable to do any of the letters. So I didn't start until I got back, and my first letter was the letter T. I have thoroughly enjoyed the challenge. I know that if both Margreth and Toni do the challenge again next year, that I will definitely be joining in a little bit earlier than what I have this year. And there's so many talented people out there. I've been watching some of the videos, and it's very inspirational. Okay, so I'm just tucking the umbrella in. Okay, I managed to get that looped around, and I like that the umbrella is going off of the frame of the composition, just breaking the line there a little bit. And I just have a little swallow or sparrow, might be a swallow, I think. Just over the sun. Now I will probably put some sort of nameplate or something on it, and I may actually look for a few flowers or something like that to come off the bottom of this, as if they're coming out of the vase or out of the urn as well. And in the meantime, I'll show you where I'm up to with the journal. I have made a lay flat cover for my journal, and I make these quite often actually. So whenever I do an album, I usually make multiples. I cut extra and then cover them and then have some made. So I had this 3/4 made, and on my shelf I just had to put it together, but I had the front and back covered, and I just had to sort out the spine. I will put a link in the description below on who inspired me to make these, and they've done a bit of a tutorial, and that's Tiffany from Let's Get Scrappy. So I will put that in the bottom for you to look at if you want to know how to make them. But you can make them any size, and they're fairly quick to put together. I'll actually grab one that I've finished and show you what it looks like so that you can see where we're heading, and because I haven't really got anything to show you yet, so I'll just grab one. So here's one that I made probably, I think, in January, and it is using a graphic 45 paper, and it's a notebook journal, for a travel journal actually, for writing things in. And you can see that it has 2 signatures or 2 notebooks in it. I made the notebooks. It's great for a travel journal. It's got pockets in it for you to put things in. So that's what it essentially looks like, and you can see that the signatures are held in with elastic. I should show you that. So you can see here that the elastic holds the signature in, and I've sewn the signatures together. However, for this one, I want it to be an art journal. So I want the papers to be able to be taken in and out, and I don't necessarily want pockets. I may put just 2 basic pockets in. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to get started on it. Now I have some zigzag scrapbook paper here that I'm going to use, and I obviously have my hero here to go on the front. Now I possibly might cut that border down a little bit, and I'll probably mount it on maybe a little piece of gold, something like that. So I'm going to do that first because I need to put some holes in and some eyelets and put the elastic in and get the cover made. Okay, I've just pulled out some metallic rose gold cardstock, and it's 185 GSM, and it's by Crafter's Choice. Okay, so I've cut that rose gold coloured cardstock. I'm just going to ink the edge of the paper that I've cut. Now you can see that I've cut some paper for the back and the spine, and it's got a zigzag pattern on it. We're trying to get as many Zs in as possible, but to be honest, I'm not sure that I'm going to get very many. I'm just inking it so that we don't see the white core of this cardstock. I'm just going to glue these together, and I've pulled out a few papers, and like I said, I don't want to sew them in, like make a notebook or anything. I just want to have the papers loose so that I can take a sheet of paper out and do a collage or do something on it and then put it back in so that I can work on a flat surface. And when I started researching Zentangle artwork, it was very interesting actually. To be honest, I had forgotten the name of it, and I have looked at lots of people on Instagram that do different sketches and doodling, and have thought to myself at some point, oh, I think I'd like to try that. Well, when I came across it, I thought I'm going to do a journal for that because then I'll be able to do some compositions and have an actual home for them. So that's what motivated me to make a journal. A little bit skew with, but man on a galloping horse. Man on a galloping zebra. Won't even notice. He's pretty cute actually, and I like that he's got some personality. I'm not sure why he's coming out of an urn. He's turned up, and I'm liking it. All right, he's going to look great on there. Let's do the back first. Leave him off till the end so he doesn't get damaged. What I need to decide is, am I going to put some pockets in this? Okay, I think I am going to put pockets in this, which means I can use a full sheet of 12-inch paper for the width, because the pocket, it won't matter if it goes into the pocket and it's not all the way there. Okay, I'm just putting a little bit of glue in the join. And on the spine, I really want that to grab. The rest can get smooshed around. Now my intentions for this journal is for it to be a journal that I do primarily black and white compositions in, all different types of media. I'm happy to do anything in black and white, but I do love color, so it's possibly going to be more black and white with pops of color. I'll probably just keep it so that when I feel like doing something like that, I've got a home for it. So I'm just working my bone folder in just slowly while on the flat side, I don't want to tear the paper. There we go. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Now I'm just going to cut some pockets. I'll actually make the pockets and cover them, and then we'll glue them on together. Okay, I'm back and I've made some pockets and we're going to put those on. I've also, I'll just show you where I'm up to. I've put some eyelets in so that I can thread all through the elastic, but let's glue down the pockets. And I've just made them out of black cardstock and covered them in some pattern paper. So before I stick the sides down, I'm just going to put some sticky tape on here so that it helps things slide in easy. Run a piece of sticky tape down. That just makes it nice and smooth. Give that a really good burnish. Okay, so now we have our folder basically done, and I'm going to put the front on, but I've also wanted to put some flowers on here, so I went looking for a zinnia flower, but didn't have one. So we're going to have to make do with a sunflower, and I've just got some little swirls and a sunflower to come out of the urn. And I pulled out a saying from Tim Holt's Small Talk, and it says, always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder. And what could be more wondrous than a zebra jumping out of an urn of flowers, carrying an umbrella? So I'm going to stick that on, but before I do that, I just want to check. I'll stick these ones on first. Let's do that. And I got these little pieces of ephemera from the Graphic 45 Life is Abundant ephemera kit. I'm just going to put this little piece of scrap in here just to build it up so it's level. Okay, yes, that's looking good. All right, I'm going to glue this on, just giving it a really, really good burnish. Ideally, I would wait this for quite a while before I continued. I'm really looking forward to using this journal actually. I am looking forward to doing some collage in it and also trying out this new style that I found called Zentangle. Before I work out where to stick our sentiment, always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder, I have a closure. And the closure I'm going to use, it's actually a old bracelet that I had of mine. These were big in the noughties. I just thought this is perfect for a closure, and it's by Fossil. It's got to be maybe 15 to 20 years old. So I just thought that this was going to be really perfect. So I want to put it around it, but I need to put all of the contents in it first to work out where I want to position this. Then once I know where I want to position the closure, then I'll stick the sentiment on. So we might come back to the sentiment. I'll just leave it there so I remember. And we'll go on to doing the elastic. So I just have this elastic, and it's hat elastic. It's 2.5 millimeter hat elastic, and it's on a roll, a 15-meter roll, and I just got it at Spotlight here in Australia, and you can see that I got it on clearance actually. Got it for $4 a roll for 15 meters, which was a bargain. And for those of you that are thinking, oh, did you buy more than one? Yes, I did. I bought a few. So I'm just going to thread this in, down through the right hand, up through the left hand hole, down through the top left, up through the top right, and then we'll snip a piece off. Our Labrador dog has just come to the back door in my studio, my craft room, and is wanting to come in and sit with me. You can probably hear her panting. It's a beautiful autumn day here in Brisbane. Now I've just put that with a little bit of tension, and I'll just let the dog in. She's in, and she's going to settle down onto her bed and probably sleep now for 4 hours. She's 14 years old, and she's doing pretty pretty well, but she's definitely slowing down. Okay, you can see here that I have made a few pages of different types of paper. Now, I do have a color theme happening here. So I've got black and white with pops of color, which is fine, but I'm kind of staying to the warmer colors of tans, oranges, amber, yellow, sunset yellow, and shades of brown. I've just done that at the moment. I don't know where the journal will lead. I don't have a problem with changing the colors out, but I've just put together two signatures because we have provision for two signatures in here. And I've just put a mixture of different types of paper to get me started and for me to play on. And I'll probably do a mixture of collage and zentangle drawing. But I like the idea of the check paper or the grid on it so that I can potentially sketch into this and use it as a little bit of a framework to get started. There are some pattern papers. I also have put in a good quality, really good quality drawing paper that takes some watercolor as well. I think it's a 220 GSM. I have some papers out of a typing book. Now, when I was a teenager, many years ago, I learnt to type, and I used to have a typing book like this where you would have pages where you had to type what was on it and time yourself and learn where the keys were. So it's a typing book, and I've just pulled out a few pages because it's in the right colouring. I also pulled out, and this pattern paper is actually nice because it is orange on one side, but then it's black and white on the other. I also pulled out an index page from a large atlas that I got at a thrift store, and I pulled out all of the places, the page that had all the places that started with Z. So I've got that. I've got really thick quality brown paper. I don't know whether you can hear that, but it's quite thick. I have very old, thin paper out of a trees and shrubs book from Australia. I think it was printed in the 60s or something like that. Some more pattern paper, and I think it repeats now. So typing, and just you can see the color palette. I've just tried to stick to that color palette. I wanted to put some of these very simple geometric shape pattern papers in because this will be perfect for learning how to do that zentangle drawing straight onto this. These ones, I don't know what I'll do with that. I do have a map out of the atlas of some places in Europe, because that's where my son lives, and then it repeats. So I think there's about 16 sheets in there, so that gives me quite a lot of surface. And this is pretty much the same, just a few different pattern papers, dots, and different scaled pattern papers. So I've got those to go in. So let's put those in. So they just slide in. And the reason I wanted to do it like this is because it means that I can actually take the page out that I'm working on, put it onto a flat surface and work on it, and then I can slide it back in. Making the cover out of good quality chipboard means that it doesn't distort. Okay, so there's our two signatures in the journal, and that has still quite a bit of space in it for it to pack out and fill up. We'll put this on now and see how the best position for it. Thinking down low. Ah, yes, that works nicely. It's nice and tight, and then I've still got space for this to get bigger. That was a good find. I like the look of that. All right, so I'm going to position these now that I've got that on, and I think I like them just about there. All right, I'll glue those on and try and get them straight. It's all done and I'm happy with that. You see here, always be on the lookout for the presence of wonder. And if it wasn't for this challenge, doing the letter Z, and then having to do a little bit of a search for things that start with Z, I may not have ever come across the Zentangle art style. So there you go. And I love sketching, and especially when we're holidaying, it's nice to just take minimal resources away, take pens and a journal, and you can just doodle. And I've used some old jewelry, which is good. So there's my take on the letter Z. I have a zany zebra jumping out of an urn, and I've done zentangle style drawing on the bottom, and I've put some zigzag paper on the back. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you to Margreth and Toni for doing this amazing challenge. It's been wonderful, and I'm very grateful to both of them. And thank you for those of you that have been watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And for subscribing. I've got quite a few new subscribers out of these last few challenges. So I appreciate you watching. And if you like this video, I know it's a little bit different. Sometimes it's nice to do something different. So give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Yeah, I hope to see you very soon. Bye for now.